What is up? What is up? We are back, Black in the building. Made it another day. God damn. Boy, you already know who the fuck I am. I'm in the place to be. Been clowning sucker free since 2003. What is going on? You cannot finesse me. Shout out to everybody at the Court Plantation right now as we speak. Shout out to everybody out there that's handling business, doing what they need to do to survive. We are back another day. Shit, it's windy as fuck outside. The weather going from hot to cold. Make sure you get your water. I ain't got no sea moss shake. I'm probably gonna make one in a minute. Shout out to everybody out there hustling, grinding. Shout out to all my finessing ass niggas out there. That's, hey man, let me hold $30. It's like, damn nigga, you still owe me $20 from 2 weeks ago. Oh, I thought I paid you. No, nigga, you didn't. So shout out to everybody out there that's finessing and handling business. You know what I'm saying? Special shout out to everybody that has to go to the Court Plantation every day. I would hope that people listen to me while they're at the job because my podcast is going to make more sense. I want anyone that's working at the Court Plantation right now, if you are listening to me, look to your left and to your right if you're at a cubicle. If you're not, let's say you work in another department and it's more interactive. Just look to your left and to your right. See who the fuck you really fuck with. If you are melanated and highly favored, you don't really fuck with too much of nobody at the goddamn job. Because the majority of the people that you are dealing with at the Court Plantation are fake, phony ciphers from the Matrix. And when I mean cipher, I mean go watch the Matrix and it will explain to you in detail about how many dominant society motherfuckers want to take the blue pill. Matter of fact, they'll take a blue pill smoothie if they actually can. They don't want to know anything when it comes to anything that's dealing with anti-black racism. And I have to always put in there anti-black because when you say racism, you start adding everybody else to the stockpile. This is not about every other racial group. This is about foundational black Americans who built this country, the United States of America Incorporated. We built the country from scratch. Not Christopher Columbus, not any other racial group, but us. So before we deal with anyone else, we have to deal with us first. So if people get offended when they listen to this podcast, then maybe this isn't for you. But we're going to always deal with racism, white supremacy. And if you're not trying to establish a system of justice, then get the fuck away from me. Shout out to everybody that is trying to establish a system of justice in this system. If you're not trying to replace it, I don't know what you're doing. Because in my personal opinion, you're doing nothing but wasting time. So shout out to everybody that's handling business. Shout out to everyone out there that is coming up with new and inventive ideas to start their own business. Because it's about being an entrepreneur. Go check out that Dame Dash podcast with the Breakfast Club. I kind of watch that every week just to kind of get little jewels and things that I need to learn and I need to work on. And I got to stop being so lazy and complacent. I'll start with me first. So shout out to everybody out there that understand what they need to do to better themselves in this system. Shout out to everybody that's reading and gathering knowledge of who you are. Shout out to everybody that wants to understand what history is. Anybody that tells you, let's not talk about the past, those are the people that are the biggest bullshitters in the United States of America Incorporated. Only people that don't want to talk about history, those are people that are bereft of knowledge, don't want to read shit, and don't care about read shit. Get the hell away from them and get around people that are trying to read, research, study. You want to do it. If it ain't nothing but 5 minutes a day, it's better than not doing nothing at all. You can't just be glued to the Matrix and looking on Instagram and Twitter the whole time. Sometimes you got to pick up a book and go read it. As I'm saying right now, I'm reading this book, The Price for a Pound of Flesh. Very, very good book. I forgot the author's name, but very, very good book. Shout out to everybody that is reading and gathering knowledge of who you are and understanding how to use that knowledge to help out your people. Hey, what's going on, Josh? I see you checking in from the corporate plantation. Hey, man, you got to check in from there. Look to your left and your right. I just got from that motherfucker, too. I don't never act like I got a corporate plantation. Nigga, for real, for real. But this is my therapy, my outlet, and hopefully when people listen to me, this could be your outlet as well. I want like-minded people. I want people when you're listening to this podcast, because this is I don't know. Nigga, I never claimed to have known a whole bunch of nothing, because I don't. I'm still learning, as Neely Fuller Jr. teaches. And when you do listen to this podcast, I want this podcast to stimulate conversation amongst your peers. And I'm talking about people that you really could talk to about anti-black racism and racism, white supremacy as a whole. Because you know a lot of people don't want to talk about that shit. They act like it don't exist. Like, I don't see color. When people be talking that I don't see color, give them White Fragility. That's a great book to read. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody that's on their CMOS and trying to get their natural herbs. Go check out Tahuti Ma'araz, ma'adra.com. ma'adraherbs.com. Go check him out. Go check out Freedom Paper Company. This is if you want some toilet tissue in your life. That's what this is. That's why I keep this up here. You know what I'm saying? And, I always keep these books up here. Destruction of a Black Civilization by Chancellor Williams. Very, very good book. You already know what the Bible is. The Bible is Black Labor, White Wealth by the Honorable Dr. Claude Anderson. And if you really want a rude awakening that's going to really fuck you up, go get The Fall of America by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I say fucking with them. Just, you know what I'm saying? Them brothers got knowledge, man. And I fuck with anybody that's bringing knowledge to the table. So shout out to everybody out there that's trying to better themselves. Every day I try to learn something different so I can incorporate it in my everyday life so I can understand how to deal with racism, white supremacy. And I always try to conduct constructive behavior. And you can't do it all the time, but the majority of the time, when I'm around my peoples, especially my family, we always have those conversations about work and how you can better yourself. And sometimes you gotta yank somebody's chain at the corporate plantation if you feel like they're doing too much. Because sometimes what we tend to do is we'll watch another melanated person outwork everybody and work themselves to death. You know what I mean? And that ain't good, man. Because then that builds up resentment when the dominant society don't give you that $3, $2 raise. When they don't give you the schedule you want. When they don't give you that praise that you desire, that builds up resentment. What you should be doing is, in my honest opinion, is teaching anyone that you know how you deal with anti-black racism. Keep your composure, become introverted, and handle business. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff today. The main thing we're going to talk about today is the Derek Chauvin trial. The deflection on that. We're going to talk about that, and we're going to definitely talk about Mark Handy, a crooked cop out of... where is he out of? I was reading this shit today when I came across it. I think he's out of Kentucky. And he sent a lot of fucking people. He sent 3 or 4 people to prison. But he was a crooked cop. So we're going to talk about this and how it all relates. Y'all need to know who the fuck these people are, man. For real. It's very, very interesting. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about this sister that had a conference call with her son and a teacher. Then the teacher forgot to hang up the Zoom meeting and start talking shit about niggas. We gonna get on that too. Because I don't understand why us black folk, why does that surprise you? It doesn't surprise me. Not at all. Hold on, let me see. Because I have it right here. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see. We gonna get into all that. But we're definitely going to play some audio of the Derek Chauvin trial so y'all can get a gist of what's going on. And we're also going to talk about how it relates to our everyday life and how it correlates with corporate America, or what I like to call it, corporate plantation. Let's get into it right now, man. We got to get into it right now. Hey. Can't believe it. Yeah, man. Shout out to everybody out there handling business. Man, if you're at the corporate plantation, I fucks with you. Much power and respect to you. I know it's not easy. It's very difficult. Trust me, it's not fun going to a corporate plantation and dealing with all the bullshit that we deal with, especially melanated people. Hey, don't y'all think it's funny how they're trying to play you with this? Oh, there ain't no racism. You know what I mean? They're trying to play you, and if you do get emotional about it, what they do is What they do is when you get emotional, what they do is they sit back and they laugh and they take pleasure in your emotions because now you've lost your composure. And that's what they do. And it is our job, I think, as melanated folk, that's melanated highly favored, not to get emotional, but to keep your composure and understand exactly what is being done to you and look at what's going on. Look at everybody around you, because a lot of people, they like us to lose our composure because it's entertainment for them. It's entertainment. You know what I mean? And these are just things that, in my honest opinion, I'm trying to find this. Let's see.
When you first approach...
No, see. Yeah, that's funny that they doing that. Let's see. Hold on. Because I had this shit. Eyewitness wipes away tears. Okay, hold on. Let's see. All right, here we go. I'm just getting the footage together because we about to play some of the footage. It's a brother right now. He's on the witness stand. I'm going to play some of his audio. Then there was a firefighter, and she basically started saying how they was like, you know, basically they didn't want her to render any aid to George Floyd. See, this is all coming out a year later. And the reason why I'm talking about this right now is because don't you ever fucking forget in your motherfucking life that ain't no fucking racism. And you better stop letting these dominant white society give you these bullshit talking points until they pull your black ass over and have you handcuffed and got a knee in your neck. Then you gonna want everybody to feel sorry for you. So you better start looking at this shit, because a lot of black folks, especially affluent black people and people that got bread and got influence, they act like the shit don't bother them. You better ask Dr. Dre. They arrested that nigga in his driveway. I'm Dr. Dre. I don't give a fuck who you are, nigga. I'm a police officer, and fuck you. Put your hands behind your back, nigga. And you better understand it, and don't you ever forget it. Now, let's see. Let's play some of this footage. Let's see. Let's see what's going on. All right, here we go. Because I ain't playing no motherfucking commercials. But yeah, man, I got to understand this shit, man. Because I'm like, man, bro, motherfuckers be like, oh, man, I don't see color. Yeah, right. Nigga, you see it every time you wake up. Every time you go to bed. You see it.
May 25,
and this is the brother, they interviewing him right now. Here, let me cut this off.
Officer 987 killed a citizen in front of a Chicago store. He just pretty much just killed this guy that wasn't resisting arrest. He had his knee on the dude's neck the whole time. Officer 987, the man went stopped breathing. He wasn't resisting arrest or nothing. He was already in handcuffs. They pretty much just killed that dude. I don't even know if he's dead for sure, but he was not responsible when the ambulance just came and got him. And the officer that was just out here left, the one that actually just murdered the kid in front of everybody on 38th in Chicago.
Okay. Would you like to speak with the sergeant?
Yeah, like that was bogus what they did.
Did y'all hear it? He basically calling, and he's calling 911, and he's reporting the assassination right in front of his face. And of course, the 911 dispatcher ain't gonna be like, oh my God, no. They're gonna go, see, what we have not learned about the dominant society is they keep their composure. See, because in my personal opinion, they lack the law of rhythm. They lack the law of emotion and soul. That's why when it comes to soul music, we're the only ones that really can do it. And then we show everybody else how to do it, but really it's an algorithm that comes from the inside of who we are, our soul. And they lack a lot of that. That's why they've been conditioned since they were children to be emotionless. You know, because they know they're going to be in charge of us and we're emotional. So that's what they like. They like to throw things out there. I'm going to tell you this again, how a motherfucker going to tell me a suspected white supremacist, I think this person's a white supremacist, is going to say, man, you know, so sad how we made those Chinamen build the railroads. So you're going to skip over slavery and skip all that, but you're going to talk about that. Well, that was to get a reaction out of me. But instead, he got a response. And you know what my response was? Silence. Because I know this is a person that doesn't know history. Because if you knew what history was, you would understand that that's not what really happened. But most people, they haven't read any book. They're not planning on reading any book. So why would you even engage and let yourself go down that path? They want you to do that. So they could be like, okay, this is how you really feel. Now I'm going to be on. No, you just be like, okay, that's how you feel. Is there anything you need from me? Always started with a question. For real.
Hold on.
Man, he was unresponsive. He wasn't resisting arrest or any of it.
Okay, let me get you over to the desk. You can request to speak with the sergeant, okay? Stay on the
Yeah, and I'm sitting here talking with another off-duty firefighter that just sat here and watched it in front of us as well.
Okay.
And she told him to check the man's pulse, but they wouldn't even check the pulse.
Okay, 1 second.
Now you hear that? I'm talking to an off-duty firefighter, and she's telling them to check the pulse, and they won't even check his. But they wanted to kill him. And you notice ain't none of where are all these white people at that was marching and wanting and repeating? Where the fuck are they at? That's my question. Where the fuck are all these other racial groups? And I'm sorry, I got to get on my Asian community real quick. Y'all need to stop. Y'all didn't build this country. You guys are freeloaders. If we're speaking technically, you didn't build this country. So technically speaking, y'all need to stop this bullshit racism shit. Like, oh, we're victims. And stop perpetuating this shit like black people just going around kicking, beating the shit out of Asians. Stop. Stop and take accountability for the bullshit y'all got going on. Because what y'all do is every other racial group comes over here and they benefit off the backs of black labor. And then they get around other racial groups and talk shit about black folk when we built the country. And then what y'all do is y'all come amongst us and peddle the shit that we like to us. See, every other racial group, they replicate the behavior of the dominant white society. And then when everything shifts, when the energy shifts towards them and they get a little bit of the sprinkle of a little bit of racism, oh my God, Asian racism, protect Asian racism. And it's like, I see people even in the NBA, stop the Asian hate. Y'all niggas need to stop that shit. And any real Asian person would be telling a black person, hey man, don't wear that shit, bro. Man, it's black people out here getting killed every day. Asians ain't got it that bad like black folks do. Matter of fact, I'll just ask an Asian, have you ever been pillaged, raped, robbed, lynched, castrated? Have you ever watched any person in the United States of America Incorporated be hung from a tree and their baby be cut out of the stomach of an impregnated melanated sister? No, you have not seen that. So I don't want to hear shit. What about gentrification or redlining? Stop. You didn't build this country. So I don't give a fuck about what y'all got going on. See, motherfuckers want us to hold everybody else's fucking groceries and water. Nah, fuck that. Worry about yourself.
I have reached the city of Minneapolis. To reach someone in our property crimes division.
Y'all murderers, bro. Y'all murderers, Kyle. You gonna kill yourself. I already know it. 2 more years. You gonna shoot yourself. Murderers, bro. Y'all niggas is murderers, bro. Minneapolis 3rd Precinct.
Hey, it's dispatch.
Yeah, man. So I want to speak to a supervisor. Yeah.
He's crying right now because, you know, your emotions set in. You just watch somebody get killed in front of the police. But let me tell you something. This is what Andrew Jackson and them was doing. When they had that peace treaty, Andrew Jackson didn't give a fuck about no peace treaty. He went over there with the militia, the police, military police, and basically told all those niggas in Florida, fuck y'all niggas in Jacksonville. Fuck all y'all niggas. This is my motherfucking land. So I don't want to hear it. Where you think the name Jacksonville came from, man? Fuck that, man. People been doing this shit. Why is everybody so surprised now? See, this is what people don't understand. The only reason why is it a trial because he drew a crowd when he got killed on camera. If everybody would have just kept going their own way and he would have died, this wouldn't even be a trial. But when you go back and look at the video and you see so many people walking up to him, that man know what he was doing. He wanted to kill him. That was his whole intent. Because you know what? Black lives are for sale. And if you don't fucking understand that, I don't know what the fuck you got going on.
Yeah, he wants to speak with a supervisor relating to 320's cause cup food.
They just killed that man in front of the store. The police.
2833-46, May 25, 2020.
Is that then an accurate recording of the call you made?
That is correct.
And at the beginning, you referred to Officer 987. Where did you get that number from?
Honestly, it was just visually popped in my head.
Okay.
Like, I looked at his badge, and that's what I read on his badge.
And so whose badge, which officer were you referring to?
The officer sitting over there.
Okay. And was that also the officer that had his knee on George Floyd's neck?
That is correct.
And for the record, when your previous answer, you were pointing to the defendant, Mr. Chauvin?
That's correct.
Okay. And
You see, is that yeah, that's the defendant. I'd have been like, yes, that's him. And I would have kept pointing. Then get me in the court. That's him right there. Yep. Him right there. Derek Chauvin. That's him. That's the guy who had his knee on his neck. That's him right there. Look him dead in his eye. That's him right there. That is him. And I would have kept him. Yeah, him. Derek Chauvin, the Caucasian gentleman right there, the police officer, law enforcement. Yes, that's him. The one that told the firefighter, don't rent a noise. Yep, that's him right there. That's what you got to do to them motherfuckers, because they'll fucking point you out in a minute. Let a nigga go kill a white person. That's that nigga right there. You're like, man, I wasn't even here. I was in a whole nother state. Well, nigga, you look like him. So that's him. That's what they'll do to you. So, nigga, you better do it to them.
And so the purpose in making, what was the purpose in making that 911 call at that time?
I just felt like that was the right thing to do. I didn't know what else to do. I didn't know what to do. But call.
I'm sorry, I cut you off.
But call.
And the response then was to transfer you to a sergeant, correct?
That is correct.
And then at some point the call, it sounds like you're talking to Officer Tao. Do you recall if you were actually talking to Officer Tao at that point?
That is correct. I was.
Officer Tao is the Asian. So all this, that's why I talk about the Asian, all this Asian crime. That Asian didn't have no problem watching a nigga get killed. See, this is what I'm talking about. Motherfucker, y'all niggas need to stop this motherfucking taking up the bloodstained banner for other racial groups. And that motherfucker was right there, not giving a fuck about none of that shit. Hold on, my nigga Dom is calling me right now. Hold on, I don't even want to answer. I'm on the air. Yeah, hold on. I gotta tell him. Yeah, let me write a message. But yeah, y'all need to, I'm telling you, listen to that shit. Officer Tao, that was the Asian brother. So but you want to talk about Asian hate crime, man? Stop letting the dominant society push these bullshit narratives, man. Stop.
Because I think at the moment, at the moment that I was making the call, he proceeded to like intimidate me and stick his camera in my face, his body cam, and
okay.
So you see, he was intimidating him. He was I'm texting my nigga Dom right now. I'm doing the podcast live right now. Watch this, hold on. But yeah, but man, look, and see, what happens is this. The United States of America Incorporated, when they wrote these laws, they wrote them to defend them and protect them and to go at foundational black Americans, because they knew eventually these people are going to get tired of us and they're going to rise up one day. So we need to do something to protect us. Fuck all this class and all. You can say class, that's fine. But at the end of the day, I can be in the same class as you be in first class. But the dominant society can tell me my money's no good here. So that's the difference. That's the difference between power and those without power. Because choice is an illusion between those with power and those without. So you got to remember that. They just doing this. This trial is by error. That's because he drew a crowd putting his knee on this nigga's neck. If they'd have took him around the corner somewhere, which they're going to start doing to people, they're going to cut their camera off. They're not going to have their fucking body cam on. That's some shit that they can manipulate. See, when they put these laws in place and these policies in place, it's not for y'all. It's not for fair and balancing. It's to protect them and pretend like it's transparency. Look at your average corporate plantations. When you work there, you see so much fuckery going on. But guess what? The corporate plantation is there to protect itself, not you. You are a number. That's why it's not good for melanated folks to get on these corporate plantations and start treating each other all fucked up. Because at the end of the day, most white folks don't even respect niggas that are coons and sambos. They talk more shit about you than they do about everybody else. And they ain't going to defend you. They going to go with their own. They'll respect most motherfuckers that don't smile with them and just going about their way.
And the call sort of ends abruptly. Did you hang up and terminate the call?
I'm not 100% sure, but I may have, because I felt threatened once our interaction happened in front of the store.
See, this brother said he felt threatened. And see, that's the thing. Now, let's see. Before I play this, I just want to tell you, because these are just things. Hold on, before we get to the next thing, because we're going to play some more audio. But these are just things that I feel in my heart, like, come on, man, y'all got to wake up. You know what the fuck is going on. Stop playing the dumb games. Stop talking this you don't see color shit. Stop talking all that shit, because you already know what the fuck it is, man. And stop going out of your way to educate people that don't want to be educated. That's why on this podcast, man, shout out to my nigga Otis too. And Dom and all them and Nick and all them, man. Shout out to them. Shawnee, Miss Wendy, Tasha, you already know Tamisha. Look, I do these podcasts to stimulate conversations with people that you know. I don't do it, man. It was so funny because one of the homies, they pulled up a video of me where it got like 55,000 views or 57,000 views. And this is a video from like 8-9 years ago. And it was so funny because me and him had a conversation about it. And I said, you know what? I just kept that video up just so if a nigga want to talk some shit, I'm going to be like, bro, I know how to get views. I just ain't trying to do that shit no more. I want my shit to grow organically. And I don't want a whole bunch of motherfuckers on there going with the wave. Oh, well, it's popular now. Warren's channel is popular, so let's all go over there. Nah, man, if you don't really fuck with this shit, then don't fuck with it. I don't take no offense to it. It's all good, bro. Whoever it is. There's a lot of people that, don't fuck with what I be talking about. That doesn't bother me. I'm not on here to be cloud chasing. Hey, man, let's stimulate conversation about books. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got this book. I got to find it. It's about this. I got it from Professor Griff because I listen to this channel a lot. And it's this police officer. And he basically talks about how crooked the law enforcement is and how they go at black people and all the racism that goes inside of it. I got the book. I just ain't got around to reading it because I sometimes I'll read books in segments. You know what I mean? And that's how I'm able to retain a lot of knowledge. But y'all need to understand, this shit is deeper than you think. Straight up. Hey, what's going on, 066? Yo, facts. Makes me think that the Chinese do have a huge right hand in politics and mainstream media. Yeah, man. Let me tell you something. Do you ever see Chinamen in the line arguing about who they gonna vote for? I'm talking about in droves. You see niggas fighting. Niggas, families will break up over politics. Black families. Go to an Asian household or a traditional Chinese household or Korean household or Vietnamese household, Japanese household. Go and just listen. They don't give a flying fuck about no politics. Them niggas got businesses. They make sure that they spend their money with their own people, and they don't give a flying fuck who's in office. They putting bread on these politicians' heads to make sure you do what's necessary for their community, and they gone. Only niggas be sitting up there arguing about Obama, because Obama, and for the people that's 50 and up, I get it. I understand. It's different for them. But if you, I would say 45, I guess, to about 25 to 45, man, come on, man. At least, I would say 45 to 35. You should already know what the fuck it is by now. Obama was an immigrant that they placed here. That's why Donald Trump was saying the bullshit he was saying about him, because he knew. Like that. That's why he's basically like, you don't give a fuck about no niggas. You worse than me. Because at least I'm not acting like I care about black folks so I can get their vote. You run around to the black folks, got your black wife, and y'all dancing and prancing, and got Jay-Z and everybody up there talking about voting. Hillary Clinton and all them. Hillary Clinton had Jay-Z and Beyonce out there telling niggas to go vote, right? But then Hillary Clinton said that Margaret Sanger was her hero. So let me give y'all this an example. I'm going to give y'all an example. So that's like Warren going to the white Jewish community and telling them to vote for me and fuck with me. I'm going to make sure y'all good. And then they get a video of me talking about Hitler's my hero. If I said some shit like that, I would never be in politics again. Matter of fact, I wouldn't even be able to participate in nothing. Y'all see what they did to Nick Cannon? And all Nick Cannon was doing was interviewing Professor Griff and kind of agreeing with some of the things that he read. I just think he did the interview wrong, that's all. If he would have did it the right way, they could have never said nothing about him. The worst they could have done was say, don't have Professor Griff on your show no more. That's it. But when you get to talking that shit and doing all that shit, you know, and you're not doing it in an interview kind of way, you know, they'll get you, especially when they got their hands all over you. And we got to stop taking celebrity and celebrityism and making us feel like, well, they supposed to, you're not going to walk off your job. If your supervisor came to you at the Gore Plantation and say, hey, man, how do you feel about racism? And you know, if you say there is racism, you're going to get fired. You're going to be like, oh, I don't see race. You're going to do what you need to do to take care of your family too. So we got to stop placing this big time expectation on other black celebrities, because black celebrities are not black activists. They're celebrities for a reason. They're placed there for a reason. I had family and extended family unfollow me because I was posting that I wasn't voting for crime bill Joe Biden and the Obama administration too. They all the same. Man, Tasha, you should have told me. I would have told you. Look, you know what you should do? You should edit what I'm saying right now and send this shit to him. You a dumb motherfucker. Now, if you're older, if you're like 70, 80, that's different. That's different. 60, 70, 80, you know, they older. You got to just let them live. This is they last hurrah as far as they've never seen a black president. So that's different. But when a nigga is at least, I would say at least 50 and down. 50 and down, and you up here arguing a nigga down about some motherfucking Obama. Come on, man. Come on, man. And what you should say is when they you know, want to unfollow you and do all that, you got to do the nearly full of joy on you. Well, what you need to do what the United Independent Compensatory Counter-Racist Code it teaches. What has Obama done that's been constructive to replace a system of racism, white supremacy? Don't fight with him. Don't argue with him. Question. And when you question, make sure you use the right tone. And the tone should be like this. Well, what did Obama do to replace the system of racism, white supremacy, and establish a system of justice? They're going to start talking about, oh, well, you know, he did the Dreamers program and they, he not racist. They ain't going to be able to give you one example of how he replaced the system of racism, white supremacy, and established a system of justice. You know what they're going to say? They're going to say, well, Bush fucked it up the 8 years. That's why Obama. And then all you say is, but that's to be expected by a suspected white supremacist. If he's black and he's running on the moniker of being black and helping out black folk, what did he do tangibly to replace the system of racism, white supremacy, and establish a system of justice? Making sure the group that needs the most constructive help gets the most constructive help that they deserve. That's taken right out of the United Independent Compensatory Counter-Racist Code of Ethics by Neely Fuller Jr. Go read that book. That's all you got to do. That'll fuck them up. Because I've done it. Well, what did he do that was constructive to replacing the system of racism and white supremacy and establishing a system of justice? Oh, well, he did this. And I'm going to be like, well, establishing a system of justice is, first of all, we got to start with who built the country. The native black folk, foundational black Americans. So wouldn't there be a debt that's owed to foundational black Americans? Well, you know, we not victims. Then you have to hit them with this. Well, we're all victims of a system of racism and white supremacy. All of us. You're a victim. If you are melanated in this United States of America Incorporated, you are a prisoner of war. Period. That's why they dominate 9 areas of activity. Go read the ISIS papers by Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, or go read the United Independent Compensatory Counter-Racist Code. Go read that book. They dominate 9 areas of activity. Religion. No, they dominate education, entertainment, politics, economics, sex, religion, education, war, and I forgot the other one. I can only remember 8. But I know they dominate 9. People activity. Oh, labor. And that's 9. And they dominate labor. 9 areas of people activity. So did Obama try to replace the system of racism and white supremacy and establish a system of justice? Man, Todd, you said who are the family members? Because they'll be mad at me. Send them to this motherfucking page. Them niggas will be mad. I already know what they'll do. They'll go run, tell uncle. You know what they'll do. One on there speaking hate. Shit, look, let me tell you something. First of all, you have race soldiers out there killing black folks with impunity. Let's just start. Philando Castile, Alton Sterling, Mike Brown, Oscar Grant, Freddie Gray, Walter Scott. Need to go on Sandra Bland. They killing black folks with impunity. And they're talking about, oh, well, she killed herself. That's what they said about Sandra Bland. She killed herself. Stop. Y'all know what y'all did. And a lot of the times what we need to start doing is, I think what we need to start doing is having a better sense of what we need to be doing. Because if we don't, you're going to have a problem. And you're like, what do you mean you're going to have a problem? You're going to have a real problem. Now, the internet might be going out right now, but I'm still recording and I'll just upload the better half of this shit. Now, I'm about to play the last part, and this is of this sister, this Caucasian lady, if I can find it, and this of this Caucasian lady that was a firefighter, and this bitch, hey Tasha, this bitch. She better be in fear for her life because she basically threw the motherfucking law enforcement under the bus. Did you see that interview? It's on CNN. Hey, 066, did you see that interview? Here, I'm about to play some audio of it right now so y'all can hear what the fuck she got to say. Just listen to this shit.
The firefighter.
Correct.
To whom did you identify yourself?
To Officer Tao, controlling the scene. I spoke loudly enough that I would think that the other 3 officers would have been able to hear me throughout the event.
We know you weren't, well, let me ask you this way. How did Officer Tao respond?
He said something along the lines of, if you really are a Minneapolis firefighter, you would know better than to get involved.
Y'all hear that? So Derek Chauvin told the firefighter, if you're really a Minneapolis firefighter, then you would know better than to get involved. Basically, blue lives matter, bitch. And this is a nigga, and you're not a nigger, so why are you intervening? Fuck this nigger. Let him die. Translation.
What did you think of that?
First, I was worried that he wasn't going to believe me and not let me help. And I also, that's not right. I mean, that's exactly what I should have done. There was no medical assistance on scene, and
No medical. So you mean to tell me this man didn't kill him? It took the whole nation to make a big deal about it when he know what he did. And all you so-called good law enforcement officers, where the fuck are y'all at? And why y'all not calling this shit out? Man, if you a good officer, call the motherfucker out and be like, that's some bullshit. You know why? You know why? Because, oh, well, it ain't my family. That's how they feel. See, like Dr. Francis Cresswell says, tell us what's being said when we're not in the room. I bet you if they placed a hidden microphone in the police stations and in corporate America in those meetings where it's nothing but dominant white society, well, that's the majority of the meetings anyway. Ain't no black folks in no real meetings. I could almost bet it's some racist jokes and shit coming up. It's some shit talking about black folk. Oh, I bet. You know why? Because this is what they do. Because when you practice a system like this, it's an institution. It's a system. It only works if everybody is on code. And what happens is the white supremacists are so smart at what they do. They'll go to the lowest, gulliest, bummish, white trashiest white person and just give them a little bit of power, and they'll treat niggas like shit. And they'll be broker. They'll be just as poor as the niggas. But as long as they got power over niggas, they feel good about themselves. They don't even think about, well, damn, the Rockefellers, the Morgans, they don't give a fuck about me. Nope, well, I'm white and you're a nigger, so you know what? It's better for me. And they don't care. And that's exactly why, if you're not trying to replace this system, then what the fuck are you doing?
I got there and I could have given medical assistance. That's exactly what I should have done.
So based on your training and experience and what you had seen, what did you want to do for this person on the ground?
Had they let me into the scene, I already had decided what his level of consciousness was, so I would have requested additional help. I would have wanted someone to call 911 for the paramedics and fire.
So you got to call 911 again. The police officer over there. Now you got to call 911 again.
Come. I would have asked someone to run to the gas station and look for an AED. And I would have checked his airway. I would have been worried about a spinal cord injury because.
So basically you would have rendered aid of what he needed, and you wouldn't have sat there and watched that race soldier have a knee in his neck where he couldn't breathe and just sit there and stare at everybody as the Asian officer made sure people stayed away too. But y'all want to talk about some Asian hate crime? Man, get the fuck out of here. If y'all don't take some wonton soup and go sit the fuck down, man, get the fuck out of here, nigga, before I throw a bag of fortune cookies at y'all asses, nigga. Man, we got bigger fish to fry. We ain't got time to be worried about no Asian hate crime and niggas out here getting knees in their back. Stop. Stop with the bullshit, man.
He had so much weight on his neck. I would have opened his airway to check if there were any obstructions. And I would have checked for a pulse. And when I didn't find a pulse, if that was the case, I would have started compressions. And I didn't have my bed bag, so I would have continued compressions. We don't give mouth to mouth anymore. So I would have continued compressions at a rate of 100 a minute until help arrived.
And by compressions, what do you mean?
Nigga, you know what she mean, but go ahead and explain it. I think the sister's name is Genevieve.
I would have put my hands stacked my hands and pressed his chest.
Chest compressions.
Chest compressions,
Yep.
correct, yeah.
And what's the point of doing chest compressions?
Pumping the blood for somebody that's not doing that themselves, trying to get a pulse back.
And were you able to do that, any of those steps?
No, sir.
No, because the police officer basically was like, bitch, you better get the fuck back. You off code. This is a nigga, and I'm about to kill him in front of all his nigga friends so they can know we still hold power. White supremacy reigns supreme over everyone else. And this is the system of racism, white supremacy. And guess what? We are never establishing a system of justice because we're never giving the power back. You're going to have to take it. That's a fact. It's going to have, I'm telling you, we're going to take the power back. That's the only way you're getting it back. It's a fact.
Why weren't you able to do any of that?
Because the officers didn't let me in to the scene. I also offered, in my memory, I offered to walk them through it or told them, if he doesn't have a pulse, you need to start compressions. And that wasn't done either.
Just like that cop that shot that brother in that garage. I did a podcast, it was probably about 2-3 weeks ago or a month ago. And it was a light-skinned brother, and he was in the garage just chilling. And a white person called the police on him. So the police rolled up and shot him. Just bang, bang. And then told the other police. And then the other police officers didn't try to render aid. They just sat there and watched him die. They just sat there and watched him and just looked at him. And he died. This is what they do, man. Every time you leave the home, you are in danger. Every fucking time. If you are melanated in this United States of America Incorporated, and you notice I always say incorporation because the United States of America is a corporation. It is a business out of Delaware. But anyway, every time you leave the house, you're in danger.
And so are these things that you wanted to do?
It's what I would have done for anybody.
When you couldn't do that, how did that make you feel?
Totally distressed.
Were you frustrated?
Yes.
She crying now. Oh, yeah, she put it. Look, they mad at her. How dare you, white woman, give us those white tears. You don't use white tears for niggers. You use white tears for white people. He's a nigger. You don't cry over no nigger. That's exactly what they thinking. Trust and believe you me. Motherfuckers think I'm tripping, but motherfucker, that's exactly what they thinking.
Ms. Hanson, you know, as I told you, we can take our time, so feel free to just take a minute and need a drink of water.
For all y'all that's listening on SoundCloud, because you can't hear the audio on SoundCloud, I am playing the audio of the Derek Chauvin case, and this firefighter, Genevieve, I don't know her last name, she was basically talking about how she wanted to render aid, but Derek Chauvin was like, basically, bitch, don't fucking come over here. Your ass gonna get fucked up too, and he's a dead nigga.
Go ahead.
This bitch gotta drink water and some more shit, huh?
Okay.
Boy, I know them white supremacists is mad at this bitch for this shit. She is definitely off code. I'm surprised she even went in there and testified, because you know they don't play that shit. She better start looking for a job somewhere else. It reminds me of that sister that was the police chief for the city of Henderson. And then all of a sudden, they start finding all these wrong things wrong with her. All of a sudden, they ain't talked about it since. Like the city of Henderson ain't one of the most racist cities in Las Vegas. Stop, man. This is a good old boy town, just like my mama told me. It's a good old boy town. Stop. They don't give a fuck about no niggas.
While you were there, were there other people around you on the sidewalk?
Yes.
And were they saying things to the officers as well?
Yes.
And do you remember what kinds of things they were saying?
No, I was pretty focused on trying to get the officers to let me help.
And how were you doing that, trying to get the officers to focus on you and get help?
I think in my memory, I tried different tactics of calm and reasoning. I tried to be assertive.
It doesn't matter what you try to do. You were breaking code because you were trying to help a nigga. See, this is the point that I'm trying to make with y'all. That's why I'm letting y'all hear all this audio. Hey, I'm over. I know I'm over my time because normally I'm off by now. But I just want y'all to hear this shit because this is a year ago. But motherfuckers didn't know this part. I knew it. I saw the video. You saw it 2 times. I saw the video. I saw several videos of a woman, and that must have been her. Like, hey, I'm a firefighter. Because I think it was a nurse out there, too, that was like, hey, I'm a nurse. You guys are killing him. I'm surprised she's not testifying. You are killing him. And look, let me tell you something. Derek Chauvin, he's going to be praised by the neo-Nazis and the white supremacist gang in prison. Shit, they going to welcome him with the red carpet for killing a nigga on the street. I don't understand why everybody acting like that's not what it is. That's what it is. And motherfuckers will look you dead in your face at the corporate plantation and be like, I'm not racist. Let me tell you something. Anytime a motherfucker that's a part of the dominant society, it won't admit their white privilege and white fragility, those are the biggest white supremacists you'll ever meet. Why? See, black folk think that they got to call you nigga, nigga, nigga. No, that's just name calling. Those people are the covert operating white supremacists that are behind closed doors politicking to make sure they can use their white privilege to oppress you any way that they can and then smile with you and make you feel comfortable and as they rock you to sleep. So you got to watch out for them too.
I pled and was desperate.
Did you also at some point start raising your voice?
Yes, sir.
And maybe used some foul language even?
Yes, sir.
Why?
Because I was desperate to help, and I wasn't getting what I needed to do and gaining access.
And at some point, the voices of the other people around you, did you feel that sort of interfered with getting the officer's attention?
Yes.
So as you're doing that, Were you able to pay more attention or any more attention to Mr. Floyd and his condition?
I wasn't really able to. I knew he.
Okay, I ain't gonna play the rest of it. I just thought I'd let y'all hear that. And y'all can go back and watch it on CNN, man. But let me tell you something. Y'all think this is the only one? Man, he was a white police detective in Louisville, Kentucky, Mark Handy. Let's see, ex-Louisville detective Mark Handy, who sent 3 innocent men to prison, pleaded guilty to perjury Tuesday for his testimony in 1995 that wrongly sent Edwin Chandlerto to prison. Edwin Chandler to prison. That was a mistypo on them. I'm on the Courier Journal, by the way. Handy was found to have coerced a confession from Chandler, who spent 9 years behind bars for the 1993 murder of Brenda Whitfield before he was cleared in 2009 with the help of then new fingerprint technology. The city paid Chandler an $8.5 million settlement after his lawyers showed Handy fed Chandler's facts to use in his confession and tape over surveillance video that might have pointed to the real killer. This is what they doing. This is what they doing all day. But you want me to believe in the justice system? Nigga, fuck you and the justice system. Let me tell y'all something. Go to the court plantation and see how the justice system work out for you. Go tell on a dominant white side person and see how far it gets you. You damn near gotta be like, they called me a nigga, then they still gonna do an investigation. They ain't gonna take your word. Well, did anyone else hear it? Well, he was whispering. Oh, well, you know what? That's hearsay. But let you say, I'm not doing that. Nobody else heard me. Well, it doesn't matter. You're a nigger and guilty nigga, so it doesn't matter. You're a nigger and we're not, and you're a nigger and you're guilty. And that's exactly how it goes. So guess what? This is all formalities. This is all theater and a show. Like I told y'all before, and I have these conversations with younger people, because younger people in this day and age, especially younger folk, they have this assumption, they're under this assumption and this misnomer that Joe Biden is a lot better than Donald Trump. Joe Biden is he's the architect behind the 94 crime bill. He put over 550,000 people behind bars because of that crime bill. He was the architect, which means he designed it. He wrote all the bills and the mandatory minimums and the 3 strikes and all that shit. That's because of him. So why the fuck would I think that he's better than Donald Trump and he's gonna be our savior because he ran with Obama? Obama didn't give a fuck about no black folk. He never said anything that was establishing a system of justice and replacing this system of racism and white supremacy. And then now a motherfucker want to come out talking about, well, I meant to do that. Nigga, shoulda, coulda, woulda. Get the fuck out of here. You full of shit. Fuck a Obama. Motherfucker didn't give a fuck about no black folk. And I don't get, and fuck a being on code with that shit. When they go low, you go high. Now fuck that. When they go low, go low. Let me tell you something. Nice guys finish last. The nice guys is the niggas that get worked, stepped on. They're the fucking doormat and welcome mat to every other racial group. Niggas need to stop being nice and check that shit. That's why when you at the court plantation, don't be no smiley motherfucker. Look at them upside their head. I'm telling you. Look them upside their head, man. Hey, what's happening with you, Dom, man? Shout out to my nigga Dom, too, man. We be having these conversations all the time, man. All the time we have them. And I try to give my insight and give my bridge view of certain things that, certain things that I see that maybe a person that's on the ground, that's not on the bridge, may not can see. You know what I mean? Because I think it's very imperative that we understand the things that we need to be doing and not the things that everybody else needs to be doing. See, we try to replicate the bad behavior of the dominant society. That's why we want the Gucci and Louis and Fendi and the nice car. I get that, and the nice house. And why shouldn't you have nice things? You should have nice things, but it shouldn't be at the cost of you prostituting your integrity and flip mode is the squad on your own people just so you can have that. That's why I be looking at these melanated brothers at these court plantations. Like I told you before, I worked at a motherfucking court plantation. This nigga at the cubicle. And this nigga go tell me what I need to be doing. I'm laughing at this nigga. This nigga's having problems in his personal life, but you trying to tell me what I'm doing. Because the nigga think he's sitting at a cubicle that he's somehow better than you. It's like, nigga, you know we all broke, right? You know that none of us run this shit, right? You know that it doesn't matter how smart you are as an individual. It's a team sport. You know that, right? Because motherfuckers be having these accolades and all this other shit, but it doesn't matter. They allowed you to have that shit. You're indoctrinated in their system. This is the thing that people don't get. Education is cool, but self-education to me is a lot better because you got the street knowledge and then you got these books that you need to be reading. They think I mean here at the plantation because I don't pretend to like my coworkers. If I fuck with you, cool. If not, oh well. And that's exactly how I am. And if I don't fuck with you, Warren pretty much ain't gonna say too much to you. And because for what? If you look at the United Independent Compensatory Counter Race Code, he teaches that's not constructive behavior. If I want to have non-constructive behavior, I'm gonna do it in my own home. I don't want to go to the court plantation and have non-constructive behavior. I want constructive behavior, which means I have to keep my composure and compartmentalize who I am and be around like-minded individuals. And when you're melanated and highly favored, there's an energy and a synergy that comes with us. That's why when we see each other out and we see each other and we talk, there's a natural energy and vibe to me. Even when we pissed off and we mad, when we see each other, there's just a natural light. We draw to each other. You know what I'm saying? That's why when we get on these corporate plantations, it's very imperative that we don't fight and argue with each other and tear each other down, man, because that makes no sense. And I'm telling you, I want you to go look up the Derek Chauvin trial. Go look it up on CNN and just read some of the articles and see what they say. I would suggest you start doing your reading. Go read Black Labor, White Wealth. Go read Two Nations. Go read these books, man. Go read, you know what I mean? Go read World's Great Men of Color by J.A. Rogers. Go read Nature Knows No Color Line by J.A. Rogers. That's Queen Charlotte on there. That's Queen Elizabeth's great-great-grandmother, who was a Moor. She was a descendant of a Moor. She had Moorish blood in her. That's why the royal family, that's some bullshit. To be royal, it means to be a Moor. Stop playing the bullshit. But they got you thinking to be royal means to be the dominant society. See, I look at it just like if you watch this movie, I would suggest everybody go watch it. It's called The Underworld with Kate Beckinsale. It's about werewolves and vampires. The werewolves are strong. They go in the sun. They're stronger than the vampires. They live like gully motherfuckers. And the vampires, they live in nice mansions, but they can't go in the sun. They'll burn the fuck up. What does that remind you of? That's why they try to give you sunblock. Oh, I'm melanated and highly favored. I'm kissed by the sun. I don't need no sunblock. See, the sun actually illuminates my melanin and activates it. That's why you see how the dominant white society, the white suspected white supremacists, they got you. Superman is white, but he gets his power from the sun. So how could he be white? But I guess, you know, that's just neither here nor there. These are just things that we need to work on and learn about. Hey, man, I definitely went over my time, but I definitely had to get that in today. Shout out to everybody out there, man, that's handling business. Like I said again, if you out there bullshitting and dicking around and you're not handling business, then you got to get with people that's handling business. Stay in your lane. If you see a nigga with a new car, that doesn't mean you got to go out and go get a new car. Just get a car that you could afford. And fuck a nigga that's trying to talk shit about it. Nigga talk shit about you in the car, then you go get the car that they want you to get, then they still talking shit about you. So fuck them. Do what you need to do, not what everybody else wants you to do. Your lane is your lane, and that's all you should be focused on. Don't focus on I don't have time to be focused on what everybody else need to be doing. I'm only focused on me. I appreciate everybody listening, subscribing. If you hang around a nigga talking about I don't see color, guilty nigga, he's a fucking Sambo. I'm out. Peace.